I wanted to speak a little bit about Heading Home Minnesota and Heading Home Olmsted, because I think in our Heading Home Olmsted plan, we've had some real successes about talking about strategies to end homelessness in the adult world. But again, as I said earlier, we want to find some strategies to end homelessness for youth. And I think the homeless response team, if there's anybody here who, if you're working with homeless youth, if you have contact with them and you want to attend the homeless response team meetings, we meet monthly. That might be someplace you'd want to connect. I think we need to understand what everybody's doing. If we're going to ever have a one-stop shop, people need to know that if I stop somewhere, everyone knows the same amount of information. The other thing that Heading Home Olmsted and the Heading Home Minnesota provides is maybe a framework within which we can set up some strategies to address homelessness. And the strategies for success in Heading Home Minnesota there are 5 of them, and I'll read them to you quickly. The first is to educate, engage, and collaborate. And one of the strategies that we've had in our plan is, again, working with the homeless response team, and the Project Community Connect event was one of those. I could see there being a homeless youth connect event. If the providers who are providing that want to get together and do that, that could be a strategy there. Increasing access to stable housing. Again, I think this is understanding what resources HUD and those federal programs could bring to our community, and how do we work through the continuum of care to collaborate and access those resources. Reaching out to people who are homeless and at risk of homelessness. Today's event, and again, the Project Community Connect, another one of those events to reach out to people. Working with Wendy, connecting with families and youth in the school system. Improving well-being. This is really about building on current efforts to assist people with access to resources, like getting people the benefits they need if they need medical assistance and food support and counseling and advocacy and maybe they need medications or those sorts of things. How do we improve people's well-being, even if while they're homeless? And then transforming the housing crisis response system. And I think that this really is about sort of the one-stop shop. How do we connect with each other so that we aren't sending people in numerous directions where they get nowhere? How do we work together to make sure that people can have a system that they go through that makes sense to them, and it makes sense to us as providers. Sometimes I don't know that the system really makes sense to us either. So those 5 strategies is finding that maybe a framework that we can build some strategies around. Because today I'm feeling the need to want to leave here with something that we can do next. Because like Mary says, I don't want this to just be a meeting to meet.
You're already
you're
describing our assignment for you, for everybody in the room. So we're not going to let you leave without thinking about that either.
I'd also like to just mention United Way and their efforts as well, as far as the coat drive and the winter wear drive. We refer a lot of families for winter wear there. And also the Running Start, where it's the school supply drive, where the school supplies are passed out to families. You sign up and you can attend that, and then I don't know if you know this, but what they do with the extra materials is they distribute them back into the schools so that we have them. So if someone wasn't able to attend that event, we still also have school supplies that we can redistribute through that process. So it was when Mary Gorfine said, collecting things, that's another thing that United Way has directly done that we've seen within the school system as well.
Okay, Mary has another comment, and then we have one question that we kind of specifically want to hear from Tom on, so we'll go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah, I just want to mention the continuum of care again in this particular section. The continuum of care by its very nature is a collaborative body. And one of the things that we are doing at the continuum of care is sharing best practices and providing training to people on, in fact, Thursday, our meeting in Owatonna is going to be about harm reduction, which is a set of strategies, meeting people where they are and going forward. And Kelby, our trainer, is actually in the room here. But regarding youth, April 21st, we are having our next Continuum of Care meeting in Rochester, and it is focusing on youth. We're doing some particular outreach to youth providers and homeless liaisons in the schools to participate in that. We're going to be looking at what the McKinney-Vento law is regarding homeless students. And the Continuum of Care has just formed its first youth subcommittee, which is meeting on March 9th. So actually, I'm issuing an invitation to anybody that wants to participate to join us in that. In either one of those efforts, the Continuum of Care is an open process. Everybody's there. If we could get Henry or Teresa to participate with us, we can even provide a stipend and cover some expenses to do that. What we're lacking at the planning table is homeless youth. I mean, we can talk all day long what we think is right, but we want to hear from you guys. What can we do to make it better for you? So again, the Continuum of Care, please keep it in mind.